What's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So, no Markkanen, no Hutchinson, no Satoransky, no Arcidiacono, but it's no problem for the Bulls in taking back-to-back wins against the Wizards. And guys, I have to say, what I was most impressed by with this game was my boy Daniel Gafford. I mentioned it in my video I uploaded earlier today that with Markkanen out, this presented an opportunity to get Gafford some more minutes. I mentioned in my videos prior, to the season starting in my awards video for the Bulls that I predicted Gafford to be the Bulls' most improved player. But the problem is he just hasn't been seeing the minutes. I really would love for him to be utilized more in the rotation, even when Markkanen comes back, because I think he's an incredibly underrated player in terms of the energy and hustle that he brings to the team. I mean, I wish I could show some of his highlights from the game, but I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike, which is why you'll see some of his old highlights. But he had some incredible athletic moves, not only on offense, but defense as well. Some excellent use of using his pivot foot, pivoting and getting under the basket for some reverse layups and dunks. Overall, 15 points on 7 for 8 shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. He was plus 23 for the game on 22 minutes. While on the flip side of that, Wendell saw his playing time dip because of how well Gafford was doing. Wendell did have a much better second half overall. I think it kind of lit a fire under him after seeing how well Gafford was doing. Overall, he finished with 16 points, 5 rebounds on 7 and 11 shooting. But he also was minus 24 compared to Gafford's plus 23, like I just mentioned. So not the best of look for Wendell, but overall it was a decent game for him. And how about Thaddeus Young in his first game back? 15 points on 7 for 12 shooting, but more importantly was his overall impact on the Bulls' playmaking on offense, as well as his strong defense on the other end. He was plus 19. Now, to me, this just goes to show this is one guy who was not being used well under Boylen. Now, I know we say that about a lot of guys on the roster last year, which is true. Pretty much all players were not being used properly under Boylen because he was just not a good coach. But I feel like Thaddeus was especially in a difficult position and not being used to his strengths. He came to the Bulls and it just wasn't really what he had signed up for. But Billy Donovan looks like he knows how to capitalize on what Thaddeus Young is best at. And obviously his veteran leadership is greatly needed on the court as well. And that was definitely noticed tonight, especially with Markkanen being out. But this was a really solid game all around, guys. I mean, this is leaps and bounds better basketball than what we saw from those first 2 games. Don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of work to do. They still turn the ball over much too frequently, which will not fly when they're playing against good teams who capitalize on that. They still have a lot of work to do on the defensive end. I mean, they still gave up, they gave up 130 points to the Wizards. They're averaging 123 points per game given up to their opponents so far in just these first 5 games. But I have been very pleased by the effort on defense, where it was now, whereas that before in those first 2 games, it was just simply non-existent. And then the only other thing is their free throw shooting. Again, 76% tonight. They've been consistently shooting free throws in around that high 70s range, so I don't really know what's going on there, but they better get that figured out because it could have been the difference in the game tonight, and that goes for any other game where there's a close ball game. You need to hit your free throws. But guys, all starters finished in double figures tonight. Otto Porter had a phenomenal evening, getting his first start with Markkanen out. 28 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals, 10 for 14 shooting. He was just giving it to his former team. I've said this before, guys. Otto Porter is a really good basketball player. He is absolutely overpaid. Don't get me wrong. The Bulls didn't give him that contract. They did decide to take it on, though. But it doesn't take away from the skill and the fact that he is a solid player. And he's playing in a contract year, so of course he's going to be coming out and playing his A game. It was actually one of my bold predictions for the Bulls that I thought Otto would finish the season averaging 16 points per game because he's going to come out playing his best basketball to get another contract, whether it's with the Bulls or another team. Coby White continues to get better. Not the best shooting night for him, but you can tell he is getting more and more comfortable in being that facilitator, that floor general that Billy Donovan wants him to be. 10 assists tonight. He actually had 7 assists alone in the first half, 16 points, playing 40 minutes. So I am pleased with the progress Coby White's making. Still work, that needs to be done for him, but he's making good progress. Zach Lavine, another solid night for him. Like Coby, he did not have a good shooting night. He was actually 1 for 7 from 3, but he found a way to get his teammates involved. He had 7 assists, and he had a huge defensive play towards the end of the game and getting a block on Westbrook, whereas, that was when the Wizards were looking to pull ahead at the very end there. Overall, 22 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds for him. Another great game. Patrick Williams had a little more of a quiet night, but still decent nonetheless. 10 points, 4 for 5 shooting. He did only play 18 minutes. He's only 5 games into his NBA career, so he'll get more and more used to the flow of the NBA gameplay, and I suspect Donovan will give him more and more minutes as a result, once the season starts progressing. Anyway, I won't ramble on too much further. A great game for the Bulls again. They have their toughest games ahead of them going into January, so it was good that they won these 2 games. They'll be taking on their toughest opponent yet tomorrow. It's against the Bucks, followed by the Mavs on Sunday. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Wizards. I did not expect them to start off the season 0-5, and you can tell Beal is not very happy with how the team has been playing, but either way, it was a great win for the Bulls, back-to-back wins. I'm hoping Markkanen, Hutchinson, Sato, and Archie that they're recovering okay. A lot, it was said that this was due to health protocol reasons. So again, it's always really vague. We're never really quite sure what that means. Markkanen, I know, is actually injured. At least that's what we've been told with the calf contusion. But for the other 3 players, it was a little bit more unclear as to why they had to miss the game. But hopefully they'll be able to make it to tomorrow's game. I will keep you guys posted on that. Until then, guys, I hope you all have a great New Year's, and I will catch you guys in the next one.